On this project, I'm going to show you how I set up the top, bottom, and the side borders. But first I want to show you that this is how our machine is oriented. To the right side of the machine is 0 or 360. Then towards the take-up roller is 90, and to the left is 180, and towards the belly bar is 270. So I'm going to use those numbers to set up this border. Here I have a mock-up of this quilt that I'm going to be working on. This is just my picture of how everything is oriented. And I have my top border, I have my corners, and I have the corner at the bottom, the left, and the right and the left, and side borders are in, the bottom borders in. So this is just my picture of what I want to do. And you notice that I have a boundary around the outside. Then I have this little strip. This quilt has rick-rack in this little narrow strip. So I simply put a boundary around the inner edge of the border, and then I placed another boundary around the edge of the inner edge of the rick-rack stuff. Then I put the quilt pattern I'm going to use on the interior. I have put that on the screen. Here is my origin, 0, 0. So this is how I'm going to work on setting this up. I think in the next quilt group, I'll show you how I go about orienting all of these patterns. And remember, patterns have to be properly set in place so that they connect correctly, and so that the edge that is on the outside of the boundary is going to be the same orientation all the way around the quilt. The way that this is set up to quilt is to the left to right, then top to bottom, right to left across the bottom border, and from bottom or belly bar towards the take-up roller. I don't quilt this left side in that direction. I change it so that I can quilt it from the take-up roller down towards the belly bar, but I'll show you that as I do this. But let me show you how I can go about setting this up. You notice over here I have my geometric square. This is my box maze edge to edge. Then I have a border and a corner. So we'll place all of that. I need a new quilt group, and I'll call it borders. So now I have my quilt group. I'm going to go get my geometric square. I need this geometric square to be 59 by 69. I have freeze aspect turned off. The reason I have it turned off is now I can enter the numbers I want to, and it won't automatically change the dimension. So the width I want to be 59. The height, this is the total height, I want it to be 69. Okay, now if I go to repeat patterns and I make sure that I am in the center, because I just want to put this on the screen. 59 by 69. have it center. I'll click OK. It placed that around where the machine is sitting. That's 0, 0. Okay, so I have that one in place. But get out of this, go back to this one. This border is 3 inches wide all the way around. So I'm going to subtract 6 inches. 3 inches this side, 3 inches this side. 6 inches. So that makes this 53 and 63. So when I go to repeat patterns, then when it's 53 by 63, I make sure it's my reference point is center. Press OK, puts it in place. Now I need to put that little ½ inch on each side. So I need to subtract an inch from this. So we have 52 and 62. Go to repeat patterns, the reference point center, place that in there. Okay, now I have this in place. That shows me how everything is, and then I could go and put this in if I wanted to. However, I'm going to select all of these. These are actually patterns, but I want them to be boundaries. So I'll select them, convert. Now first I need to combine them. Go down and combine patterns. Now I can select. See, when I go and click anywhere, it selects everything. So now I can go right click, convert pattern to boundary. So there it is. That's all the boundary. Next thing I'm going to do is place my corner patterns. And I have this set at 2.5, but I think I'm going to change it to, I'm going to turn aspect on, leave it on, and have that 2 point. Well, I'll leave it like it is for now. I'll just leave it alone. So I'll get my corner pattern, go to repeat patterns, and it's upper left, so I'm going to leave it like that because I'm going to have to move it in place anyway. So it's going to do the upper left according to where my machine is sitting, where 0, 0 is. Grab this thing, just move it into place, zoom in on it, and change it to the orange. Now as I drag this, it's going to get larger around the center. So I'll keep dragging it and sizing it. Okay, that looks pretty good as far as from here to there. All I need to do now is move it into position and change my anchors back. I like to have these blue anchors. I have it selected, right click. I'm going to circular array it. 3 at 90, that's correct. Place the array, click right on this intersection right there, and it's going to put them in place. But here's, you notice, here's something. This distance here, okay, this distance and this distance is the same, so it puts this pretty close to this center. The reason why I like to use circular array is because it is already sized the way I want it to. be. Now I'm going to go and get this one. I'll just move it into place, and later on I may have to do some adjustments to this, and that's normal. Get that one in place. Get it where I can see, get it fairly large. Just move it where it looks like it's oriented the way I want it to be. I'll probably have to make some kind of an adjustment to it later. That's okay. So I have all my corners in. Now, my next step will be to place these border patterns all the way around. Okay. First I'm going to place this one at the top. I'm going to go Alt-M so I can measure. Turn on the end snap and click that point, click that point. It says I have 53.08. I'll just right click to get out of that. I'm going to get my border pattern and go to repeat patterns. I want my total width to be what the measurement was, 53.08. Okay. Click OK. That puts that on the screen. I'll move it over, and it doesn't matter how close I try to get this. I'm just going to go get my end anchors. I have end snap turned on. I'll move this up, snap it in place, move this up, snap it in place. Now that's pretty good for the time being. I need maybe to have this a little bit further up here, which means I'm going to have to move this and I will select all of these patterns in the border. Now notice I didn't select the left corner or the right corner, so I can just select those patterns in the border. Get my end anchor. Again, I'll move this. End snap is on, and I'll do some more adjustments to this as I quilt this. So that's in. Escape, we get out of this. I need to go down the side, and matter of fact, I'm going to put in this bottom one next, since I have my side border selected. Now remember back over here, this direction is 180, so this has to quilt this way towards 0, this way towards 270, this way towards 180, and this way towards 90. Okay. Yeah, to make it make sense, maybe I will just go ahead and put in this side border, and that'll give you an idea of how all this is accomplished. So now I'm going to go and put in this side border. So I need to measure, Alt-M, from the end of that to that point, 63.01. Okay. Go to repeat patterns and put in my right here 63.01. My angle is going to be 270, remember? Okay, 270. I think I'm going to just leave my reference point upper left corner. I'll click OK. It's going to put all of those right there. I'm going to select all of them, move them over, and get my end anchor. Okay, grab that. Okay, those are in. Next, I need to put this in. And I want it to go, this time the angle is going to be 270. Remember this was, this was 270. This is going to be 180. 180. So I'll just put all these in, and then I'll put this one in last. I have my border pattern. I'm going to go to repeat patterns. There, my angle is 180. Press OK. I just go ahead and leave this as upper left corner for this demo. Oops. Got a problem. Okay, forgot to do a couple of things. I need to measure this. And I'm going to measure from this point right there to that point. 5297. Okay, 5297. Go to repeat patterns. Okay, go down here. Now remember, when I measured from left to right, or from right to left rather, this gave me the angle. All I have to do now is select that. See, it put the angle in there for me. Click OK. Bring it down there. Connect it. Next, I need to put in all of this over here. Now I'm going to put the patterns on the screen for this. Remember, I've set this up so that the orientation is correct, going this way to the right, top to bottom, right to left. Now I want the orientation to go correctly from bottom back towards the top. I have my border selected. I will simply do another measurement. Notice I'm measuring from the bottom up towards the top. Go to repeat patterns. Total width, just right click, put in the width, the angle, I'll right click and it gives me the angle. There it is. I'm just going to select all of this, Get my side anchors, move it over here close, get the end anchors. Okay, I now have all of my patterns into place, and I will show you exactly how I intend to quilt all of this. Okay, what you have to remember is now this is all perfect because I used a square that's perfect to set all of these borders in. That's not how your quilt's going to be. So what I want to do is delete this, and I'm going to draw my own boundary. Okay, you say, well, you drew your boundary, but now everything is really out of whack. What are you going to do? I have the machine sitting in the upper left corner of the actual quilt, and what I need to do is right click somewhere and relocate, shift all to one point. I'm going to turn off this end anchor, and I'm going to simply click this corner right there. Okay, I click that corner. Now it's put the patterns relatively in the proper place, the proper orientation. But you see how everything is right here. It's kind of a little bit, it's not bad on this side, but over here it's not exactly lined up the way it needs to be. So I guess I can simply, this side anchor will stay placed. I can use this wedge and just move everything over like this. And I'll have to fine-tune that before I quilt. Now this is reality. This is what I call make-believe, because I set everything up perfect using the geometric square. But then when you get to your quilt and get to reality, you find that things are different. Okay, that's reality. So I'm going to tell you one other thing.